This is Giselle, and I am here with another piece of good information from my upcoming book, Soul Based Love Relationships. And well, before I start reading, I just want to share some very important news. I'm really happy and I'm celebrating the fact that today I presented my draft for revision to my amazing editor. Yay! Really happy about this. This is a very important milestone for me. This is the first time that I get to publish a book, so this is a big deal, and I'm very excited, and I'm so grateful to you for being part of this. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and big thanks to my fabulous editor. Thank you for doing such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job with this. Okay, so today I'm going to share the most unrevised and ignore challenge number 4. Remember, before I mentioned how there are many challenges in love relationships. Some of them are more obvious and more common. And because I don't want to give you the same information that is out there, I have chosen to put other common but actually ignored love challenges under the magnifying glass. Okay, so today we are looking at number 4, which is ego influences love relationships. Yes, that sometimes annoying ego structure. We need to understand what it is, so then actually we don't get that ego structure to win over us and actually mess up with us and mess up with our love relationship. Okay, here we go. Is it saying goodbye to unnecessary frustration, wasting time, energy, money, or experiencing pain and reducing the number of times you trip over yourself is possible. We must put on our socks on first. Remember, doing things in order. To stop rushing and understanding the role ego plays in your relationships, your love relationships. So whether you do it with ego actually interferes with your relationships, with your consent or without your consent, okay, it's crucial to cut out the source for drama, pain, dissatisfaction, anguish, and the choices that you make in your love relationship. It is. Does any of the following rings a bell, Isabel? Number 1, expectations, justifications, denying, blaming, shaming, comparing, losing control of yourself. Have you asked yourself where the following set of behaviors stem from? Have you experienced one or a couple of all of these in one, some, all of your love relationships? Have you lived through an egregious mistake of not checking your ego, which cost you your love relationship? In the past, I have done all of them in all my relationships, which led me to feeling exhausted, frustrated, and dissatisfied. I created a vicious cycle unconsciously that produced drama and suffering. I'm going to make a pause here so we can actually ponder upon these things, because it's actually really very important that we, first of all, we become aware of what we are doing and what we're not doing that actually can be the solution for the challenge that we are experiencing. Because if we are not aware of it, it's guaranteed that actually we just go through the same motion without understanding what we're really doing. And then there we go, we have the same problem or challenge again. So I want you to, if you are producing that, I really want you to stop that, because it's not nice to be in that kind of space, and you deserve all the happiness in the world. So make sure that you do leave your comments below in the comment area, and let me know what you think about this, and actually what is your experience in your love relationships. Actually, are you aware that actually it's either your ego or your partner's ego that actually you start prodding each other, and then you just react, and then the least expected moment, then you are in an argument, for example. No? Okay, things like that. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. Okay. A couple of years into my third and last marriage, I observed that in some cases I was repeating patterns that I thought I was done with, and started asking myself, how come this happens again when I supposedly should not be doing this? For example, holding high expectations on myself and others was a priority in my transformation because it was one source of feeling bad, letting myself down, feeling angry, and disappointed. Instead of thinking, damn, another layer to the onion, I started seeing, seeing it as an opportunity to gain deeper understanding and distill wisdom. And I made it a point to understand how I allow my ego to be in charge instead of me being in charge of myself. It says, this desire resulted in me learning directly from my soul and ego structures and cutting out interference from external sources, which made a difference in my love and other relationships. The drama and suffering that were once familiar finally subsided. Okay, so I'm going to make another pause here. And I just mentioned how instead of thinking, okay, finding myself doing something similar or the same, okay, I stopped thinking, why am I doing this again? Okay, so then I thought, okay, there is more layers to this onion, right? Because the onions that we create inside ourselves, they may vary in size. And an onion, it has the very thick layer, and then it has this very thin, almost transparent layer. So that's also a layer. And actually, sometimes we may think, okay, so I have actually peeled a lot of layers of this big onion, but then maybe there is this thin layer that's still pending. So that is actually not for you to be discouraged about moving forward, because actually the fact that you find another layer to the onion, it's an opportunity for you to have deeper understanding, as in, what maybe there is missing. You're missing something, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay, because after all, you are here not just to learn, but actually to refine your understanding. You can get more and more and more and more distinctions about the same thing. The Eskimos, they have over 100 words for snow. I mean, for most of us that don't live, in that very harsh environment, snow is snow, correct? Right? Now, if you are a skier, yeah, when we go to ski, then we need to know about powdery snow, and there is flaky snow. There's many other types of snow, but actually the number of snows that a skier will know, it is actually quite reduced compared to the number of words or distinctions about snow that a Eskimo has, right? So in the same way, you can take on board this philosophy of getting more and more and more distinctions, so that you can actually keep on going deeper, and you can actually allow yourself to see beyond, okay, beyond and through. So you just don't stop at just one distinction. That's my invitation. Okay. So let's continue. It says, what makes it tricky to catch your ego in action, allowing it to control your love relationships? So if you're watching this video, please make a pause so you can actually answer that question. I will ask that question again. What makes it tricky to catch your ego in action, allowing it to control your love relationships? This is a very important question to ask. You have to know it. You really need to go to the bottom of what makes that happen. Okay, so make a pause in the video, answer, and come back. Okay, thank you. And let's continue. What makes it tricky is that it is a highly sophisticated structure that can identify when you are about to catch it in action. Yeah, that's why it's tricky. The ego structure is a super highly sophisticated structure. It has intelligence, right? So when it perceives that you want to catch it, it will just do whatever it takes so you will not catch it. That's what makes it tricky. That's why you have to be very sharp. Okay. Actually, further down the book, actually on part 2, I talk specifically about how the ego structure works and what it is. So just stay tuned so that you can actually learn more about it. Okay. Okay. Let's continue. And it says, if you are not adequately trained, you will dismiss its modus operandi and be oblivious to how the ego controls your interactions with the other person. And even you could completely dismiss your partner's ego, prodding you to engage in an ego battle. This is for real. Okay, so just let's make a pause here and think about the times when you have gone into an argument, a quarrel, a disagreement, or a fight with your partner. So, what happened before that? Before you step into the space of disharmony. So, one thing that you need to really know and understand is that your ego structure doesn't operate on its own. So, it will operate on its own with you, right? One on one. Sometimes when it tells you things that are not true, and then you start making assumptions, right? That was actually the unrevised and most ignored love challenge number 1, making assumptions. That is heavily driven also by ego, right? So when you are not aware and you just let yourself be influenced by this ego structure and you don't check it, you don't have it under the magnifying glass, it will just do whatever it wants with you. Okay. And I can tell you this because I have observed that through my own personal experience, also in class teaching about the ego structure and the soul structure. That's why I can talk about this, right? And also observing people through my practice of more than 20 years. So that structure is highly sophisticated. You have to be trained to identify it and don't, so you don't let that structure actually do whatever it wants with you. Okay? All right, let's continue. It says, you can certainly tell that your ego is in charge when you interact through blaming, comparing, denying, expecting, having expectations, forcing, justifying, manipulating, speculating, or shaming. And the same goes for your partner's egos towards you. So when you're interacting and you're having that exchange happening, for sure you are engaging with your ego. Okay, let's continue. These behaviors sabotage love relationships and any relationship in this case. You will learn how to prevent their detrimental effects on your love relationships in the opportunity area that I will later will get to share with you. Apart from this information, please study part 2 of the book well and watch my YouTube videos. So this topic is too vast to introduce all the information here. It is true. The topic of ego mastery, which is part of self-mastery and spiritual mastery, it's very vast. Actually, one chapter on the book, it's not enough space to explain all of that. But this is an introduction, so you can at least start knowing about it. Okay? It says, the path to ego mastery, it's worth taking despite its initial challenges. Keep in mind that the true path to ego mastery has no shortcuts. Yeah, you have to be aware of this. If anyone comes to tell you, oh, you can do it fast, you can do it easy, you gotta take that with a mountain of salt, not just a pinch of salt. Okay. It says you now have more options to choose from. You either continue operating your love relationships the same way, or you can take the rewarding path of soul based love relationships and walk it steadily, one step at a time. And I'm here to guide you. When we talk about ego, we cannot leave the soul behind. And that is actually the next challenge, number 5, that I will be sharing tomorrow. Okay, so from what I share, I would like to know what actually stands out the most from all the sharing that I have done. Because if you're not really familiar with the ego structure, probably this information will be like, oh, wow, I didn't actually know that ego has so much influence over me or my partner and our love relationships. So it is good that you start getting to know about this, so then you actually have more choices. You know, when you have more choices about a situation, there is more empowerment for you. Okay. So I want you to have choices in your life. So you can actually not just pick any choice, but you can actually sit down, you quiet your mind, and you reflect upon the choices that you have in front of you. You don't rush and just pick anything anyhow. Or under pressure, you will pick a choice because, for example, your partner is asking you to. Out of respect, your partner has to allow time for you to make a choice. Okay. And it applies the other way. So you respect your partner to make a choice. Got it? So I'm really glad that I'm sharing with you this book journey in this way, sharing, little snippets of the book. And yeah, soul-based love relationships are very important for our society because actually, if you think about it, a human being is born out of a love relationship, right? So we want to have more children, happy children, healthy children coming through these soul based love relationships. Our humanity really, really needs it. We are at a very critical point in history. This is an inflection point where we have the chance and we have the choice actually to tilt it towards our advantage. Okay, that's why I'm doing this. All right, thank you. And having said this, please help me choose the title for the book. Actually, I put numbers on the titles. I have 3. Okay, these are the working titles. The number 1 is soul-based love relationships for genuine and fulfilling life on earth. This is actually one title. Okay, the number 1. Number 2 is soul-based love relationships. The perfect vessel for your personal and spiritual mastery. This is working title number 2. And working title number 3 is this one. Soul-based love relationships, navigating the waters of transformation for personal and spiritual mastery. So I would really appreciate that you leave your comment and just tell me, oh, I love title number 2, title number 3, title number 1. Okay, so yeah, I get to choose. Still have a couple of days to nail down the title and subtitle because that is actually quite determining. Yeah. So that's it for today. I'm really glad that we are here, and today I'm actually fresher than yesterday. Yeah, I was really, putting on my effort to complete that draft. Yeah, so I went very, very, very late to bed, and actually I did the video. Was quite tired, but I'm really glad that we're here. I'm sharper. You can see it in my eyes. Okay, so thank you, and I will see you on the next video. Okay, this is the part of uploading 100 videos on YouTube before the publishing date, 25th March. So thank you so much for helping me also sharing the video. Like it, comment, and turn on the bell. Yeah. that bell that lets you know that a video is coming. Okay. Thank you so much. Big love. Thanks. Lots of blessings. Ciao, ciao.